You know cocaine, you know heroin, you know the drugs they show in movies. These are not those drugs. These are the ones most people have never heard of. The ones that do things to the human brain that sound completely impossible. 6 drugs, 6 effects so extreme that scientists still struggle to explain them. Some of them are legal. Some of them are sitting in your local grocery store right now. Scopolamine, the drug that makes you hand over everything you own and remember nothing. Scopolamine is a real medical drug. Doctors use it in tiny doses to treat motion sickness. In higher doses, it blocks the neurotransmitter responsible for memory and free decision-making. In Colombia, criminals discovered that blowing it into someone's face turns them completely compliant within minutes. Victims describe it as a dreamlike state. They know something is wrong. They just cannot stop themselves from cooperating. One victim helped criminals empty her own apartment, carried boxes to their van herself, remembered none of it the next morning. It is odorless. It is tasteless. It exits the body within 12 hours, leaving almost no trace in drug tests. The Colombian government documented over 50,000 scopolamine cases in a single decade. Many researchers believe the real number is far higher. Most victims are too disoriented to report it. It is still used legally in hospitals around the world today. Ibogaine, the drug that forces you to relive your entire life for 36 hours straight. Ibogaine comes from the root bark of a shrub that grows in Central Africa. The Biwiti people have used it in ceremonies for centuries. A single dose lasts between 24 and 36 hours. During that time, users report something unlike any other drug on Earth. The drug forces you to relive your memories, not flashbacks, full sensory re-experiences of your own life from childhood forward. Users describe watching themselves from the outside, seeing conversations they had forgotten, understanding things that confused them for years. Researchers have found it almost completely eliminates heroin and opioid withdrawal symptoms in a single session. Multiple studies show up to 60% of opioid addicts who take it report no cravings for months afterward. The catch: it is illegal in the United States, and it carries a real risk of cardiac arrest during the experience. People fly to clinics in Mexico, Costa Rica, and Portugal to take it legally under medical supervision. Many describe it as the most important 36 hours of their life, a complete reset of who they are. Bromo-DragonFLY, the drug where a single dose lasts 3 days and can make your limbs fall off. Bromo-DragonFLY is a designer psychedelic created in a university chemistry lab in the 1990s. It is one of the most potent hallucinogens ever created, more potent by weight than almost anything else known to science. A single dose triggers hallucinations that last between 2 and 3 full days without stopping. But the hallucinations are not the most dangerous part. The drug causes extreme vasoconstriction. Your blood vessels clamp shut so tightly that blood stops reaching your extremities. In documented cases, users' fingers and toes turned black from gangrene after blood flow was cut off for days. In Sweden, one user required the amputation of both feet and several fingers after a single experience. In 2009, a batch was accidentally mislabeled as a much weaker drug. People took 20 times the intended dose. That batch alone is believed to have caused at least 5 deaths across Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and the United States. It is not scheduled in every country. In some places, it is technically legal to possess. Krokodil, the drug made from household chemicals that rots your body from the inside. In the early 2000s, heroin became expensive and hard to find in rural Russia. Someone discovered that disamorphine, a powerful opioid 10 times stronger than morphine, could be cooked from codeine pills bought at any pharmacy. The other ingredients were gasoline, paint thinner, hydrochloric acid, and red phosphorus scraped from matchboxes. The resulting drug was cheaper than a loaf of bread, and it was catastrophically toxic. The name Krokodil came from what it did to injection sites. The skin turned green, scaly, and reptilian, like a crocodile. Left untreated, the tissue beneath would rot, blood vessels burst. In the worst cases, muscle and bone were exposed. The life expectancy after starting Krokodil was estimated at 1 to 3 years. At its peak in 2011, an estimated 1 million Russians were using it. Hospitals in Siberia described wards that smelled of rotting flesh. Doctors said they had never seen anything like it. As heroin prices fell again, Krokodil use declined, but it never disappeared entirely. Flakka, the drug that gave people superhuman strength and made them think they were being chased by demons. In 2014 and 2015, emergency rooms across South Florida were overwhelmed by people behaving in ways paramedics had never seen. People running naked through the streets, trying to break down doors with their bare hands, screaming about invisible attackers. The drug was called Flakka, a synthetic cathinone chemically similar to bath salts sold for as little as $5 a dose. Flakka causes something called excited delirium. The brain floods with dopamine and norepinephrine simultaneously and cannot process reality. Body temperature spikes to over 40 degrees Celsius. Users feel like they are burning alive from the inside. At the same time, the drug causes a surge in strength by blocking pain receptors and flooding muscles with adrenaline. In Fort Lauderdale, one man impaled himself on a fence while trying to escape invisible demons. He had to be tasered multiple times before he stopped. Another man ran naked down a highway and tried to have sex with a tree, convinced it was a real person. Users who survived described the experience as being trapped in a nightmare with no way out and no understanding of what was real. By 2016, Flakka had largely disappeared from Florida after police crackdowns on the Chinese chemical suppliers. Bath salts, the drug behind the most disturbing attack in modern American history. Bath salts are synthetic cathinones, lab-made stimulants that flood the brain with dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine all at once. They were sold openly in gas stations and corner stores in the early 2010s, labeled as bath salts or plant food to get around drug laws. On May 26, 2012, a 31-year-old man named Rudy Eugene was found on a Miami highway bridge eating another man's face. Police arrived and told him to stop. He looked up and kept going. Officers shot him once. He did not stop. They shot him 4 more times before he went down. The victim, Ronald Popo, survived but lost 75% of his face. Toxicology showed only marijuana in Eugene's system, not bath salts. The medical examiner found no other substances. But around the same time, dozens of similar attacks were being reported across the country linked directly to MDPV, the active compound in bath salts. In Louisiana, a man on bath salts gouged out his own eyes and then tore pieces of his own face off in a jail cell. The DEA used emergency powers to ban the main compounds in 2012. Manufacturers immediately changed the formula and kept selling. 6 drugs, 6 things the human brain was never supposed to experience. Some of them are being studied as medicines. Some of them are destroying lives. All of them are real, and most people have never heard a single one of their names. If you want to see more stories like this, subscribe.